Hello?
I'd like to call to order our December 5th Springdale Planning Commission meeting.
Call back roll. Woo-hoo. Howard Austin. Ray Cardiel. Mark Cloud. Gary Compton. Brent Couch. Chris Hussein. Shannon Mueller.
Here.
Peyton Parker.
Here.
Dale Tyler.
Here.
And if everyone's had a chance to look at the minutes, do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Cloud. Do I have a second? Second by Dr. Compton. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The first item on the meeting tonight, tonight, C-23-16 has been tabled. R-23-58, Justina Majiha, has been tabled.
Wait. Didn't we put that one back on?
Sorry, I wasn't.
Justina Mejia, we put that back on?
Yes. That should be heard.
JP Specialty LLC has been tabled. Legacy Venture Storage has been tabled. Shiloh Creek or Spring Creek Village, South 48th Street Storage have both been tabled. The first item tonight is the master street plan update presented by Ben Peters.
Thank you and good evening. I'm going to stand close to this so I can see the map. You all have it on your screens, I think. It'll be hard for the audience to see it, but this is the master street plan. The last one was adopted in 2017, and we're required in every odd year to review this by, I think, March, which we started in March, and we're just now getting to the point where we're ready to have something to adopt and forward to the council. So this is the overall map of the city of Springdale. And we have the streets broken down by classification, starting with the freeways and highways, which are the roads that are maintained by RDOT and or the Federal Highway Administration. And then we have arterials, examples of those, they're in orange. Examples of those would be Huntsville Avenue, Don Tyson Parkway, and Wagon Wheel Road. Then we have collector streets, and those are all the yellow roads. I think the ones like Gudensson, Turner Street, those are good examples of collector streets. Then we have commercial streets and downtown commercial. Now, those are new to this map. They were not on the last iteration of this map. Those are, the downtown commercial is happening in the downtown area, and those are roads that we're going to try and make fit in the existing building layouts. The other commercial layout is for more of a greenfield type situation where we're out and we get to build it from scratch. We have all the room that we need. And then we have local streets. Those are all shown in gray. We don't actually dictate where local streets go. Usually those kind of evolve as subdivisions happen and development occurs. So those are on there. Couple of the changes that we made to this map over the last one is we show Highway 612 on this map across the entire length. I think we showed part of it before, but now we know the entire layout. We've also shown existing interchanges. Those are in the red diamonds. And then we have green diamonds, which are our interchanges that we hope to have someday. No time limit on those or no timing on those other than we think that those connections are vital to the organization of the street system in Springdale. And then we've also added the 112 project that RDOT is undertaking in the next few years. And we included the roundabouts on the 112 project as they're proposed. And I think that was important because where those roundabouts are is where we'll be able to connect to 112 and make good left and right-hand turns So that's why those are shown on there. We also included the railroad, which we had left off previous maps, and I think it's important to show that because it's a huge divider that kind of runs down the middle of our city. And we love the railroad, but it also decreases the ability to get east and west across it. So we have specific crossings, and those are shown on here as well. Another thing about this is we have some flyovers that are proposed over 49, because like the railroad, 49, useful, but it is also an impediment to east-west travel because there are certain locations where you can get across it. We are doing the Harbor Bridge, or West Emma Bridge, which connects Emma Avenue on the east side to Harbor Avenue on the west side. That project just bid today, as a matter of fact, and we got a pretty good bid. So look for that project to happen soon. The other ones that are on here that are proposed that don't exist, I guess I should say Watkins exists now. There's some proposed ones on here that don't exist. Falcon Road, flying over 49, not an interchange, just a bridge over the top like Watkins is now. Apple Road, which is non-existent today. And there's one more that I'm forgetting. County Line Road is an interchange. And County Line Road is probably the biggest change to this map. There's an orange arterial that is about equidistant between Huntsville Avenue and Wagon Wheel Road. And that goes all the way from Highway 265 west to Highway 112. So that would be a new Don Tyson type roadway that would go all the way across the northern part of the city, and have an interchange on 49. It's important that that location is where we want to put it because there are limits on where you can have interchanges. They have to be a mile apart, and this spacing hits that. So that's why County Line becomes a very important crossing to get from the northwest part of town to the east side of town. Okay, so Nate, you want to go to, there you go. This is the front cover of the guidance policy. Historically, we presented this in a tabular form on the back of the master street plan, and it was great for engineers who didn't really like anything flashy and just wanted the data. But turns out it wasn't the best way to present it. So this is M Avenue, just looking straight down on it at the Greenway. Just a nice picture. That's what this is. Nate? So this is the guiding principles and policies. This kind of defines what the master street plan is and kind of covers what it's not. It's a policy for where roadways should connect, but it is not an identification of exact locations. So this, if you see your house under one of these lines, don't freak out. It's just a connection of someday we think a road should go through here. Doesn't mean it's going across your house. Next. So again, these are the classifications that I described earlier. This is federal freeways and state highways. These are the ones that we don't really get a lot of say-so in, other than through our state legislators. These are the ones that the highway department maintains, and we sort of connect to, and they're the main thoroughfares through town. The next one is arterials. This would be Don Tyson, Huntsville Avenue, Wagon Wheel. You see this is a median type road. The median would drop in places where we'd have left-hand turns. We've included larger green spaces at 10 feet and larger side paths on both sides of the road at 10 feet. If you remember from the old one, we showed a 12-foot path on one side and a 5-foot sidewalk on the other. What we discovered is in doing that on a longer road, it creates a lot of mid-block crossings because no one wants to be on the 5-foot side. They all want to go to the 12-foot side. That causes conflicts. Conflicts causes accidents. So we think we're better off doing 2 10s rather than 1 12 and 1 5. The next is a collector. So these are the roads that are meant to go from your local roads, your subdivisions, the street in front of your house to get you to the next classification, which is an arterial. So these are meant to move cars and move people. These, we've added 8-foot side paths to both sides of the road with an 8-foot green space to keep it comfortable for you while you're walking or biking along the road. Next. So this is a new classification that I don't think was even on there when we had our work session. This is an industrial, heavy commercial. I'd like you to think of maybe Ford Avenue area or other warehouse type districts. This road, there's nothing pretty about this road. This is to get trucks and equipment in and out of industrial and heavy commercial type places. I would think this would be an interior subdivision road to that type of subdivision. Next is commercial. This is, like I talked about, kind of a greenfield type commercial, an area that we think that we want to have grow. This is designed to have multimodal. So we've got cars, we've got parking on the street, we have bicycle lanes on both sides. We still have green spaces, although in some places these might be tree islands or tree wells inside of a larger sidewalk. So it might be a 12-foot walk instead of an 8-foot walk if it's in that kind of commercial area. This is in a 70-foot right-of-way and speeds of 25 miles an hour with an operating speed of 20. This is the downtown commercial. I talked about that a minute ago. This is where it's more beat to fit, paint to match kind of places in existing built-up areas in the city. You'll see that more in the downtown area of Emma and 3 blocks off from 71 to 265. So we're trying to kind of improve those streets so that they're friendlier to pedestrians, bicyclists, and get people around the city to and from businesses. This is the local streets. These are the ones that are not shown on the map, but they're kind of all over inside the subdivisions. If you'll remember, the old map had 2 different sections, a high-volume local and a low-volume local. We've combined those 2 and turned it into one called a local. And it really is right between the 2. The street widths or the lane widths are at 9 feet, and then we have parking on one side at 7. We should kind of consider the local with parking as the standard subdivision street. And then if you have a unique subdivision that is extremely large lots or provides off-site parking lots for other people, then you might consider the one on the right, which is a local street without parking. And then we have alleys. We kind of didn't do alleys very well in the last one. We had a 30-foot right-of-way, and then we had a 15-foot paved surface, which it's not really an alley. That's almost a street. So we shrunk these down. We have 2-way alleys that are 14 feet wide and 1-way alleys that are 10 feet wide. The other important thing about this is we're also opening up the idea to gravel alleys as opposed to paving them all. I think anytime you have trucks or you have a lot of big traffic, you're going to want to pave it. But if it's just a little alley behind some residences, there's potential for gravel LID. Don't have as much runoff, but we do require ribbon curbs to go down both sides to contain that gravel and give you a place to connect it to. So then this is the other design criteria. This is the stuff that really the public doesn't care too much about. This is more for the engineers. Gives you the criteria for the geometric book, gives you the sections in the code that refer to streets and drainage. And other than that, I don't think there's anything on there that anyone would care about. So we sent this out to all of our design engineers, both private and public, the ones that work for us and the ones that have designed all of the things that you all review on a regular basis. We've also sent it out to the public at large, and we've had places on our website where you can make comments. We've taken those in, and this is kind of the result of the culmination of all those plus your input from our work session. So we feel like we're ready at this point for you all to consider this to forward to council for adoption. And I'll be happy to answer any questions.
And this is one more time for public comment. If there's anybody in the audience who would like to make any comments, this would be our last formal public comment period on the updated master street plan. Anybody have any comments they want to make on this?
Okay, we'll turn it back to the chairman.
I have a question for you, Ben.
Yes?
If people were to go to the city website and pull the master street plan right now, when was the last time that was adopted?
The last time we adopted it was 2017.
And it's had a couple of minor changes to it. In 19, we added a little local street over by Elm Springs Road interchange and a couple of minor changes. That's all that's been done since 17.
Yeah, since 17, it's been very, very minor. This is the,
This would be a significant update, would you say, to the plan?
this is a significant update, yes.
And the last one was done in 2017.
Yep.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion?
So motion.
Motion by Mr. Cloud. Second by Dr. Compton.
Cardiel. Cloud. Compton. Couch.
Yes.
Hussein. Mueller.
Yes,
Parker.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
that passes 8-0.
This will go to council next Tuesday night for formal council adoption too.
The next item on the agenda is 3724 Sunset Avenue, Springdale LLC, presented by Steve Lyle.
Hi, thank you. This is a pretty straightforward, it's about an acre piece of property. We needed to rezone it from C2 to C5 just to add a drive-through window. It's not going to be any change of use or any current development. It was just to get into compliance with the code so we could add a drive-through window at this location. And I understand it is within the it is within the master plan as far as future zoning. It's all commercial in the area, as you can see there.
Staff comments?
The adopted comprehensive land use plan indicates commercial use for the area. The rezoning request is in keeping with the following goals and policies of the comprehensive land use plan is recommended for approval. Improve the city's economic base and tax structure through the promotion of healthy, stable commercial concentrations, encourage the development of a wide range of commercial development for the residents and tourists to include neighborhood, community, and regional centers.
Are there any comments from the audience? This is a call for the vote.
One question. Is there one entrance and exit, or is there two? I can't tell on this.
It's hard to tell there. It's a very small building, as you can see. It's only about 1,500 square feet, kind of in the back center of the 1 acre, 9/10 of an acre property.
Steve, I think it has an access off of
It
412 and off of.
It does have 2 accesses, that's correct.
Thank you.
Do I have a call for the vote?
Call for the vote.
Call for the vote by Mr. Parker.
Cloud.
Yes.
Compton. Couch.
Yes.
Hussein.
Yes.
Mueller.
Yes,
Parker.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Cardiel.
that passes 8-0.
Staff will prepare the ordinance that goes to council next Tuesday evening on the 12th.
The next item is the Trails at the Crossings Apartments, presented by Crafton Tull and Associates.
Hi, we're proposing a phase 2 of the Trails at the Crossing Phase 1. We'll use the same building, lighting on phase 2, and keep, we have to rezone from A1 to PUD, which is also presented. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Could you tell me your name again?
Courtney Austin.
Staff comments?
This really is an extension of the existing one. They are proposing the same PUD developments with the same requirements. You'll see the same type of buildings, the same materials. They have open space, they have added some amenities, and this is basically just a revision to the existing one to add some more units. They also have included a phasing plan, which is something that we had to go back and do last time, but you can see, you can see on that graphic the phasing plan that they're proposing with this, so they can open businesses as they are completed and they have the necessary parking and facilities to go with it.
Is there any comments from the audience?
I have a question. So on the image we're looking at right now, you show a lot of trees in the perimeter of the project. Yet
Yes.
the first phase, I don't see that many trees. I don't know, maybe they're just bare, maybe they didn't get planted yet. I'm just curious about the difference between what's existing. And I drive by this site all the time. I don't remember seeing near the amount of trees you show for phase 2. So just like to hear your comments on that.
There were supposed to be some trees along the pathways out to the trail on each side, but I think that was all that was presented for the existing phase 1, and we really wanted to spruce up the area to provide some screening on the road for phase 2.
Are there any intentions in coming back and doing that for phase 1? Would the owner be willing to do that?
I can't really speak to that.
can tell you we've come a long way with this developer of doing more landscaping than what we had the first time around.
The rezoning is a call for the vote. Call for the vote by Dr. Compton.
Compton. Couch.
Yes.
Hussein.
Yes.
Mueller.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Cardiel. Cloud.
Yes.
Next is a motion subject to staff comments for the large scale.
We get-
Sorry about that. For planning, besides normal standard comments, we've requested percentages of the different types of materials being used on the building, along with color elevations, detailed drawings of the enclosures and screening methods. Also, in some of the, one of the areas, the lighting seems to be insufficient, so might need to look at that and see if we can increase that. A few of the trees on the landscape plan are also listed on the southwest overlay on the restricted list, so have somebody revisit those again.
Remember, this is part of the overlay district, and it has a different list of trees and materials, okay?
Only engineering comment is to submit off-site easements, which I understand are going to be part of the preliminary plat for Gap at the Crossings.
Any other comments? This is a motion subject to staff comments.
Make a motion, subject to staff comments?
Motion by Mr. Parker,
Second.
second by Mr. Cloud.
Couch.
Yes.
Hussein.
Yes.
Mueller.
Yes.
Parker. Tyler.
Yes.
Cardiel. Cloud.
Yes.
Compton.
That passes 8-0.
Staff will prepare the ordinance for the rezoning and go to council next Tuesday night.
The next item is R23-52, Old Mo East LLC, presented by Nathan Crouch, Blue and Associates.
Good evening, Nathan Crouch with Balloon Associates, and my client is proposing to put a United Rentals business on this property, and in order to meet that goal, he's looking to rezone the property from I-2 to I-1. Additionally, we're looking for CUP and variance approvals, but I wasn't sure if you wanted me to cover those right now.
We'll do them all together, but we can start with the rezoning.
Yes, ma'am. The rezone from I-2 to I-1 for the purpose of putting in United Rentals.
The reason being the use unit for that's not allowed in an I-2, so they had to downgrade to an I-1.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The comprehensive land use plan indicates heavy industrial use for the area. The rezoning request is in keeping with the following goals and policies of the comprehensive land use plan is recommended for approval, encourage the development of industries that further diversify and stabilize the city's economic base that are compatible to the labor force, raw materials, and industrial climate, assure adequate land allocation for industrial growth protected from encroachment by non-industrial uses.
Do I have any comments from the audience? Any comments from the commission? This would be a call for the vote for the rezoning. Call for the vote by Mr. Cardiel.
Hussein.
Yes.
Mueller.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Cardiel. Cloud.
Yes.
Compton. Couch.
Yes.
That passes 8-0.
Staff will prepare the ordinance that goes to council on next Tuesday. Now, on the conditional use, you're proposing to use that area for storage of,
Use unit 45 with basically open display outdoor storage, but in this case, it will be the container boxes for United Rentals. They're not going to be renting equipment and everything, just storage containers. And so that's
Okay.
where they're planning or proposing to put them and store them is up in that, the red area that you can see on. I believe it's worth noting that the client.
It's
does not-
actually use unit 48.
My mistake.
Yeah, it's use unit 48. Okay. The ingress and egress is acceptable. There's various uses on this site, and the allocation of parking, to me, the ordinance requirements is kind of questionable, but I think we went through those today, and we've identified all of the proposed, or all the uses of that piece of property there today. And I think you can meet the parking requirements, but you have a variance request.
Yes.
Right, to
Just in
reduce it
case.
from, can you tell me the numbers that you want to reduce it from?
I had kind of an idea of the numbers, but Mr. Ritz over here was going to crunch those numbers.
Yeah, it was from 175 down to 85.
And that's identified for all of the uses on that property would be able to share those parking, and that's the identified and marked parking spaces.
That's my understanding.
And there are some places where people park because there's room to park, but I think parking is going to be acceptable even with that reduction. The refuge and service areas is acceptable. Utilities, we're assuming that there's not any additional utilities needed for this conditional use?
That's the way I understand it, Mr. Sin, you're going to need any extra utilities out there? Everything's
Okay,
done.
it has lights in the parking lot, and so the power's already there. So you're not adding anything, that there will not be an office there? There'll be,
They will add an office at some point, per the design standards, but, power, water, and sewers all within the same premise.
okay, you're gonna have to come back with a non-large scale if you can put an office in there, because right now we're looking at it without an office. Okay. Okay, it's not required any screening. Are you adding any additional signage to the property?
They'll get us just a standard sign out front for drivers to, know for entrance coming in and out, but that'll be a full permit for that.
Okay, you're not putting up a big United rental billboard or anything like that on that site, because it's got plenty of signs on that site already. Okay. The size and shape of the property is kind of unique, so I think we can make this work. It's my understanding that the property to the east of this site that is currently undeveloped is in the process of being sold to an adjacent property owner. Is that still the case?
To the south of that property.
Yeah, that area that's east of the building and south of what we're looking at today.
Yes, ma'am, we're working on it.
Okay. I want it put into the record so that you will remember that can only be done if it's attached to another piece of property, because it doesn't have a street access or street frontage, and it has to be attached. So it's in the record that you've been reminded one more time, okay? Okay, landscaping is not an issue. With these changes that we received in the last few days and the overall parking plan being able to be met, I think the general compatible is acceptable to put this on this site.
This would be a call for the vote for the conditional use.
Call for the vote.
Call for the vote by Mr. Cloud.
Mueller,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Cardiel, Cloud,
Yes.
Compton, Couch,
Yes.
Hussein.
Yes.
That passes 8-0.
Staff will prepare the resolution. It goes to council next Tuesday evening. I'm going to remind you that this conditional use is for United Rental at this location. It can't be transferred to another company, and that company can't take it someplace else, okay?
Next is the variance for reduction of required parking from 175 to 85, and that is a call for the vote.
Call for the vote.
The vote by Dr. Compton.
Parker,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Cardiel, Cloud,
Yes.
Compton, Couch,
Yes.
Hussein,
Yes.
Mueller.
Yes. That passes 8-0.
Thank you.
The next item is B 23-123, Ricardo Martinez Alvarez, presented by Ricardo Martinez Alvarez.
Good afternoon. So basically my variance, I had various Springdale planning committee people come out and they told me to put gravel. They approved everything, and then I got told that not all of that was supposed to be gravelled, even though, you know, they showed me and I sent pictures. So that's part of, for that gravel. And then for the fence, I'd like to put up a higher fence on my right side neighbor. I've had issues with him, and, you know, I'm just done seeing, you know, always having to have a, you know, bad interaction with him every single time. So that's why I'm requesting the fence on the right side of the property.
Okay, I have some questions. Are you operating a business at this location?
No.
Do you have a business license in Springdale someplace else?
Yes.
Can you give us the location, because we haven't been able to find a business license for you anyplace else?
It is 1040 Whispering Pines Street. That's the address that I have for my business.
Okay, are you parking vehicles for your business at this
No.
location?
Well, they used to be for the business, but they're not running for the
Okay,
business
you're not doing that
anymore.
anymore?
Yeah.
Okay. And so the additional gravel that you're putting on the side, which was, I know there's a conflict between what you were told, and we had a misunderstanding. They thought you were putting back what you had been there before, and it appears that it's been expanded beyond what you had normally started with. What's the additional gravel for?
So that's the thing that whenever they first came in, they told me that I had to fill it up all the way to where I filled it up. I didn't fill it up anymore that they told me. And then, you know, I had several other people come in and tell me, you know, that I overexpanded it. But, you know, I had sent pictures and everything to, like, the first 3 people I talked to. It was Ricardo, I believe it was the guy above him, and I'm not sure of the other person's name as well.
Okay, they can't give you a variance to extend it beyond what was
Yeah.
normally done. What,
But
again?
I had them actually come in and tell me where I could, you know,
Okay.
where I would be able to lay the gravel down. And, you know, I sent them pictures whenever I was done, and they said that was the correct spot and everything. And,
Okay, what are you using the gravel for?
the
Parking
gravel?
vehicles on that are personal vehicles? Is that what you park on that? That's what that additional gravel is for?
No, I was just wanting to refill the gravel because they said I couldn't park one of my personal truck there. So that's where I had it parked. They told me to gravel it, and I asked them exactly where. I gravelled it, sent the pictures. They told me it was fine, and then,
Okay.
you know,
Let's talk about the fence. What is the height of the fence across the front of the property?
the front of the property,
Uh-huh.
it's 4.
It's 4 feet?
Yes.
Okay,
And
so
then-
you're asking for it, because normally the ordinance says you can only have a 3-foot fence across the front, so you want to increase the height of that to 4 feet?
Yes.
And what's the height of the gate that's there?
The gate, I believe it's 6.
Okay.
But that's another thing. Those same people that came for the gravel told me I could have that fence at that height, or if not, you know, I wouldn't have spent the money, you know, to increase it at that height if it wasn't allowed.
Okay,
But-
I can't address that, and I don't know if, Ed, if you can address that. I don't really want to get into that discussion. So right now, you're asking for the front fence to be 4 foot high across the front, and the gate to be a 6-foot fence, and it's set right on the property line, so if you pull up there and the gate is closed, you block the street, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. That to me is a problem. You need to set that gate back far enough so that if it's closed, you're able to get into that without blocking the traffic.
Wait, like, oh no, it doesn't open in outwards, it opens.
I
inward.
know, but you got to get out of your vehicle and walk up there to open it if it's
No,
closed.
it has an automatic opener in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the height of the fence between that and your neighbor, you want it to be what height?
I believe they put 8, but I mean, I'm fine with 7 if that's not,
What you want, 7 or 8?
8, I mean.
Okay.
if it-
Does anybody, building inspection, fire marshal, anybody have anything to say about that? Katie, do you have any issues with the gravel?
Not for this one, no.
Ed?
Are there any comments from the audience? Could you put,
We need to
you- you-
My name's Olivia King,
can you give your address?
502 Northwest N Street, Springdale, Arkansas. I speak in support. His stuff looks fine. I don't know about the 7-foot fence, or the 8-foot fence, but the rest of it looked okay, I think.
Thank you. Okay, this would be a call
I
for
got
the
a question.
vote.
I'm sorry, what's the reasoning for the height of the fence again?
So, on the right, so it's not in the front of the property that I wanted, it's on the side of the property. It's just, my neighbor has always, I don't know if it's a racial thing. I don't wanna invoke anything of that, but we just have had problems. He's always walking there, intimidating my kids. They can't even go play out right, cause, he's just there watching them. And whenever I have workers there, he tells them he's gonna kick them out. And, I just
Okay.
wanna avoid that.
Appreciate
I have
it.
no problems with any of my other neighbors, but I do with him.
Are you asking for an increase from 3 foot to 6 foot at the front of your
No, not
property?
at the front, on the side, on the right side of my,
Okay, he's asking for the front fence to be 4 feet, except for the gate is 6.
except for the gate is 6, and then there's an additional part where,
And that's what it shows in this picture, correct? That's what you have currently,
Yeah,
a 4-foot
that's
fence with a
that's
6-foot gate.
yeah.
Ricardo, why do you have workers over there? Why do you have workers over there?
I had workers there, whenever I bought the property, I brought it, was it in July? And I've been improving the house, there was a lot of, the house was very mistaken care of.
So you
and,
mean
I've
people
been-
working for
I've
you
been
to
working-
improve the
yeah,
property?
to improve the property, yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure. You said there's no commercial business here. Right?
No.
This is a call for the vote.
Call for the vote? Now, are you not going to take both these together?
Yes, we'll take, is it okay to take both of them together?
Okay, who called for the vote? You? Brent.
Mr. Couch.
No, Brent. Somebody did, okay. All righty. Tyler,
Yes.
Cardiel. Cloud,
Yes?
Compton. Couch,
Yes.
Hussein,
Yes.
Mueller,
Yes,
Parker.
Yes.
that passes 8-0. Thank you. The next item is B 23-124, Anderson Electric and Plumbing Supply, presented by Andrew Marks.
Good evening. I'm not Andrew Marks again, sorry. I'm Kevin Anderson with Anderson Electric and Plumbing Supply. We was here at the last meeting, have had a chance to meet with staff and kind of hash some things out. So I think we addressed the drainage issue, and I think we're okay there. There's issues of lighting. We're getting some light from our neighbor, but not enough, if we discussed with staff. So we're looking at adding a couple solar lights on opposite corners to bring the lighting up. We're also looking, we were open to landscaping to create the screening we need. So I've found something that grows 8+ feet tall, which should screen around the areas we need, so you won't be able to see into it. And let's see, lighting and, those are the two things I think we needed to tackle.
We did spend quite a bit of time trying to figure out how we can move this thing forward. I think the type of bushes that he proposed to add across the back and all the way down, if we'll put in sufficient size, will create the screening that we need. I think we determined that the gravel had already been in that location, and he's not extending the location, and he submitted information for some solar lights that I believe will provide what needs to be done at this location. What I would suggest is that we do a bill of assurance that, because you indicated you might be doing something different in a couple of years, that we do a bill of assurance to allow it to stay just like it is for a couple of years, and then in 2 years, either he's moved on to something else, or he's brought us a plan for something else, we can at least look at it and it's not permanently at that location. And I think you're good with that 2-year bill of assurance.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Okay.
So what about the paving requirement? That's,
That all goes in there together, because that variance is part of that bill of assurance. So if we handled all these together with a bill of assurance that shows all of this would be done, and we need him to post a bond for the lights and the landscaping so that we know they get done in a reasonable amount of time, not in that 2-year time period. But leaving it all with the gravel and everything comes back in a bill of assurance. Okay?
Makes sense.
That's how it.
okay, this would be a call for the vote. with a bill of assurance for 2 years.
And a bond.
And a bond for the
Landscaping and
landscaping and lighting.
Call for the vote.
Call for the vote by Mr. Cloud.
Okay, this is all together, correct? Okay. Cardiel? Cloud?
Yes.
Compton? Couch? Hussein? Mueller?
Yes,
Parker?
Yes.
Tyler?
Yes.
that passes 8-0.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking another 30 days to work that out. Appreciate it.
The next item is R23-54, City of Springdale, presented by Patsy. Christie?
The city had a donor that purchased all this property and made it available to the city for the extension of Bluff Cemetery. We have been going through the process of getting the approval from the state to expand the cemetery and to lay it out with all of the, somebody tell me how many plots are there? 4,000, 3,000? No? Oh, 850, okay. It's about 1,400, okay. Somewhere in there, there's between 850 and 3,000. There's a lot of spaces. You can see that up there. The property needs to be rezoned to P1 because it belongs to the city, and we need to get the rest of it. So when we look at how much land we have available in the city for residential use, we don't think that's part of it because it's really not available. The land use plan shows low-density residential use, but the rezoning is keeping with the following goals and policies. And it's the acquisition of desirable sites well in advance of need. And I know the need at the cemetery is getting tighter all the time, so.
Are there any comments from the audience? Could you come to the mic and state your name and address?
This is my virgin experience, so bear with me here. I live at 626 Mill Street, where the property that you're looking at, developing, whatever, is south of me and the back side of it. So my concerns is I have no privacy as you expand that, and I have an open fence right there. I have had break-ins into my house to where I have put a partial fence up. So I don't know if the city is gonna do something to help with that situation.
The city's
I know-
putting up wrought iron fence all the way around the boundary. There will be a wrought iron fence around
black.
there. And the only access will be for maintenance. The general public can't come in off of Mill Street. They can only come in through the existing exit on the other side.
So it wouldn't necessarily be a privacy fence for me and Deanna Wirtz that lives south of me.
No, it would be the same type of fence that's around the rest
All the
of
way
the
around.
cemetery, yes.
And
for
then are they
screening.
going to, I have a wood fence that's on that property. Is that wrought iron fence gonna go next to it? Or are you just gonna leave the wood fence there to?
The wrought iron fence will be on the city's property, so if your privacy fence is on your property, the city won't be disturbing that fence because we would be doing it on our side of the property line.
Okay, and then, would they, repair the sidewalks,
The sidewalks,
on that property that you guys own, or that the city owns? It's all tore up.
well, we don't have that's not part of the cemetery project itself. It may be that we need to do sidewalks in that whole area. I know we've talked about it in the past, but the sidewalks do need repaired.
Okay, and then, the cemetery's only got certain hours of the day. I mean, it doesn't prevent anybody from walking through there, but.
No, that's correct. The cemetery does close at dusk, I believe it is. And this part will be under the same regulations that the rest of it is.
Okay. Okay.
Ma'am, may I have your name, please? May I have your name?
I don't think I have, I'm sorry,
Your name?
my name?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. Karen Peterson.
Okay, thank you.
I live in that Habitat house over there.
Okay, this is a call for the vote.
Call for the vote.
Call for the vote by Mr. Parker.
Cloud?
Yes.
Compton? Couch,
Yes.
Hussein, Mueller,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Cardiel.
That passes 8-0.
No, 7. Did you say no? I'm sorry, I don't have my hearing aid
The next item is R23-55 LD Gibson Properties LLC, presented by Larry Gibson.
I'm Larry Gibson, and I could not, excuse me, I could not get the company occupying that warehouse that used to be Heek and Can to purchase my property, so we're going to go ahead and move forward with the rezoning.
Was worth a shot, right? Okay. The land use plan indicates light industrial warehouse use for this area. The rezoning request is keeping with the following goals and policies and is recommended for approval, allow an increase to medium or high-density residential use when land values prevent economical development of low-density residential. And that just kind of serves as a buffer. The property around it is zoned to multifamily, so I don't see any issues with this being. It probably should be industrial, but if you can't find an industrial buyer, that's where we are.
It's not a lot of land to build a big factory on.
Are there any comments from the audience? This is a call for the vote.
Call for the vote.
Call for the vote by Mr. Parker.
Compton. Couch,
Yes.
Hussein, Mueller,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Cardiel,
Yes.
Cloud.
Yes.
That passes 8-0.
Thank you. I don't have to be at the city council meeting on Tuesday, do I?
You don't have to. I'll make the presentation,
Very good.
but they'll go to council on Tuesday night.
Thank you.
The next item is R23-56 Richard and Janet Harris, presented by Richard and Janet Harris.
My name's Janet Harris.
And Rick Harris. And our request is for a rezoning of 5876 Elm Springs Road from, what is it, residential to C?
No, A1,
Oh, A1 to C5.
C2.
Two. That's my easy.
And tax structure through the promotion of healthy, stable commercial concentrations. Now, if this is converted to commercial use, it'll have to have paid parking.
Yes.
Okay.
The majority of it's already got a huge amount of parking already. It looks like a commercial building already. All we got to do, we're going to add some parking at the front door. That's all. There's no change to the structure on the exterior at all.
Are there any comments from the audience? This is a call for the vote.
Call for the vote.
Call for the vote by Mr. Parker.
Couch,
Yes.
Hussein,
Yes.
Mueller,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Cardiel, Cloud,
Yes.
Compton.
That passes 8-0.
Staff will prepare the ordinance that goes to council next Tuesday evening.
Thank you.
The next item is R23-57 CL George and Sons LP, presented by Craft and Toll and Associates.
Hi, my name is Libby Topping with Craft and Toll. We're proposing to rezone essentially the northeast corner of this project from A1 to C5. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
The land use plan indicates regional commercial use for the area. The rezoning request is in keeping with the following goals and policies: improve the city's economic base and tax structure through the promotion of healthy, stable commercial concentrations, assure adequate land allocation for commercial areas of sufficient size and in proper locations, and encourage the development of a wide range of commercial development for the residents and tourists to include neighborhood, community, and regional centers. And this is all part of the preliminary plat for the gap at the crossing, which we're splitting this out as a separate track with a large scale on this corner because they know what they want to do with this corner. So it's kind of coming in similar to what Sam's did, in that we know what one piece is going to be. We go ahead and rezone that. In the meantime, they're working on the preliminary plat, the regional detention, getting water and sewer to all of it at the same time, but it allows this piece of property to move forward by itself.
Correct, yes.
Are there any comments from the audience? The rezoning is a call for the vote.
Call for the vote.
Call for the vote by Mr. Cloud.
Hussein. Mueller.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Cardiel. Cloud.
Yes.
Compton. Couch.
Yes.
The rezoning passes 8-0.
Staff will prepare the ordinance. It goes to council next week.
Could I have staff comments on the large scale?
Planning has nothing but standard comments.
Engineering also has no comments.
It's a project that came in with commercial design standards in the overlay district with no variances. We worked really hard to get to that point.
Yes.
For the preliminary plat. You can put it all in one motion.
Yeah. Okay.
Subject to staff.
Motion by Dr. Compton,
Second.
second by Mr. Couch.
So these are both together. Alrighty then. Mueller.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Cardiel. Cloud.
Yes.
Compton. Couch.
Yes.
Hussein. Alrighty.
That passes 8-0. The next item is R23-58, Justina Mejia. Mejia.
Hi.
Hi. Oh, I'm Justina Mejia. Yeah.
Yes. My name's Rebecca Soto. So this is a single family, it's a, I guess, an SF2, and she's wanting to do it an MF2.
And the reason being she wants to put a duplex on the lot, right?
Yes.
Okay. The comprehensive land use plan shows low-density residential use for this area. The rezoning request is in keeping with the following goals and policies. Appropriate locations for single-family and multifamily development should be provided based on accessibility, site suitability, utility availability, neighborhood compatibility, and environmental factors, and encourage the development of a variety of housing types appropriate to the size and income of the households living and working in Springdale.
Are there any comments from the audience? Could you please come to the mic? Yes.
Thank you. I'm Olivia King. I live at 502 Northwest End Street, and I wanted to speak in support of the motion.
Thank you.
Thank you, Olivia.
This is a call for the vote.
Call for the vote.
Call for the vote by Mr. Tyler.
Mueller.
Yes.
Parker. Is not here. Alrighty then. Tyler.
Yes.
Cardiel. Cloud.
Yes.
Compton. Couch.
Yes.
Hussein.
Yes.
That passes 7-0.
Yes, oh, good for you.
That passes 8-0.
Staff will prepare the ordinance. It goes to council next week.
Thank
So
you.
then what is that? That means yes, then it goes to council?
That means it goes to council next week, and it has to be approved by city council by ordinance for it to be totally
Thank you.
rezoned.
Thank
Okay?
you.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good night, thank you.
The next item is R23-59, Berean Properties, presented by Kathy Howerton and T. Wayne Van Hook.
I'm Wayne Van Hook. We would like to request that this zoning be changed from the current zoning of Office 1 to Commercial 2. All the adjoining properties, basically, it is surrounded totally by C2s, and there's some that's grandfathered in. There was a mobile home park, I think, across the street. But basically, everything west, north is already zoned that way. We've had some inquiries, and that we would could use it as C2, but that wouldn't work for them for office. So we're asking if that could be rezoned.
Land use plan indicates commercial use. The rezoning request is in keeping with the following goals and policies. Improve the city's economic base and tax structure through the promotion of healthy, stable commercial concentrations, encourage the development of a wide range of commercial development for the residents and tourists to include neighborhood, community, and regional centers.
Are there any comments from the audience? This is a call for the vote.
Call for the vote.
Call for the vote by Mr. Parker.
Parker,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Cardiel. Cloud,
Yes.
Compton. Couch,
Yes.
Hussein,
Yes.
Mueller.
Yes. That passes 8-0.
Thank you.
Staff will prepare the ordinance that goes to council next Tuesday evening.
Thank you.
The next item is R23-61, Gary and Wendy Stith, presented by Will Kellstrom.
Good evening, Commissioners. So essentially, we are asking to rezone this 6.83 acre tract on Thompson, which is kind of set back behind some other properties the owner does own, or the owner does own that small strip of property that you can see kind of leading to Thompson that is part of the parcel. And we're wanting to rezone it to C2. And other than that, I'm just here if you guys have any questions.
Land use plan indicates commercial use. The rezoning request is in keeping with the following goals and policies of the land use plan is recommended for approval. Improve the city's economic base and tax structure through the promotion of healthy, stable commercial concentrations. Encourage the development of a wide range of commercial development for the residents and tourists to include neighborhood, community, and regional centers.
Are there any comments from the audience? This is a call for the vote. Call for the vote by Mr. Cardiel.
Tyler,
Yes.
Cardiel. Cloud,
Yes.
Compton. Couch,
Yes.
Hussein,
Yes.
Mueller,
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
That passes 8-0.
Thank you.
Staff will prepare the ordinance that goes to council next Tuesday.
Okay, thank you.
The next item is R23-62 RMB Investments, presented by Engineering Services.
Good evening, Jonathan Schmitz with Engineering Services. This is a rezoning request from A1 to C2 on the corner of Don Tyson and Hubbardton Road. The property is approximately 1.88 acres.
Okay, if you'll remember, this is a request that came in last month that you asked for C5
Yes.
and chose not to downgrade it at that time, so you came back with a new application
That's
for it to be C2. Property catty-cornered across the roundabout was already zone C2. The land use plan recommends low-density residential, but this rezoning is in keeping with the following goals and recommended for approval. Improve the city's economic base and tax structure through the promotion of healthy, stable commercial concentrations, assure adequate land allocation for commercial areas of sufficient size and in proper locations.
Are there any comments from the audience? This will be a call for the vote.
Call for the vote.
Call for the vote by Mr. Parker.
Cardiel. Cloud. Compton. Couch.
Yes.
Hussein. Mueller.
Yes,
Parker.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
that passes 8-0.
Staff will prepare the ordinance. It goes to council next Tuesday.
The next item is R23-63 Taldo Properties LLC, presented by Blue and Associates.
Good evening, Nathan Crouch with Blue Associates. This 1.55 acre property, Mr. Taldo is requesting to rezone that from A1 to MF12 with intent to develop multifamily development.
The land use plan indicates low-density residential use. The rezoning request is keeping with the following goals and policies as recommended for approval. Appropriate locations for single-family and multifamily residential development should be provided based on accessibility, site suitability, utility availability, neighborhood compatibility, and environmental factors. Encourage the development of a variety of housing types appropriate to the size and income of all households living and working in Springdale, and allow an increase to medium or high-density residential use when land values prevents economic development of low-density residential. And I do want to say that we have received 11 emails in opposition to this, which all of them have been made available to the Planning Commission members and will be put directly into the record of this meeting. And I'm asking if the Planning Commission members want me to read those 11 emails, or you're willing to put them all in the record as they were received. And all of them are in opposition to the rezoning request. Okay?
Property owners here this evening if you'd like to ask him any questions.
Do we have any comments from the audience? Okay, if you could come to the mic, state your name and address.
My name's Dale Strauss. This is my wife, Bobby. We live on 4201 Clark Avenue on the street on the other side of that fence. You know, I heard a lot of good conversation about what's important for the city and the economic base and all that stuff. But we moved in there nearly 18 years ago because we loved the community. We loved the houses. We loved how everything was different. We like looking down at houses and seeing our neighbors. We like seeing our neighbors walk up and down the street without worry and sometimes walk their dog. I don't relish the idea of looking out my backyard over my fence and seeing a multifamily duplex. So I don't approve. And I probably have a somewhat nice house on that street, and I do think the value will go down. I don't think it's going to increase the sale value, though I have no desire to sell. I don't think it's what's best for our community or for that street or for my neighbors.
If you see the property, it's beautiful. The church and the parking lot and yard are right behind Clark Avenue there. There's a little bit of green space that'll probably end up with dogs walking, or, you know, being walked around there and doing what they do, and I expect trash eventually as well. I'm not sure that it's going to be, it seems to me like it will end up being a low-income issue right behind our house. That's how we feel about it. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, I don't hear very well. My name's Mary Miller, and I live at 4005 Clark. My house is directly, well, we just got this map yesterday, so I didn't have time. I don't know if you all have seen it. But my house is directly adjacent to the proposed buildings, and there would be a parking lot between my house, 42 parking spaces, and the proposed buildings, and there would also be a small green space. I've been trying to find out how large that green space is. Mr. Caldo, did you find out?
Okay, before we get too deep into that actual layout, keep in mind that we are looking for the highest and best use of the property. We're not rezoning it for that exact layout.
Okay.
When he gets ready to develop it, when the developer's ready to develop, he will have to submit a large-scale development plan that will be submitted to the Planning Commission. We'll go through a review process, and all the adjacent property owners will be notified again, and we'll look at the open space and the drainage and the parking and the building placement and all that at that
We'll
time.
have additional.
Yes, you'll get
okay.
notified again when that's submitted. All we're talking about tonight
Okay.
is the highest and best use of that property for an MF12
Got
zoning
it.
district, okay?
So I printed off a map with the borders of Peaceful Valley, and it appears that every single residence within Peaceful Valley is a single-family residence. Probably 95% of them are single-story. It was established in the 80s. It's a community that has thrived in the center of Springdale ever since. And I just don't believe that it could be considered Peaceful Valley any longer if we have a parking lot plopped down with 14 two-story townhouses right in the middle of our residential area. So I'd also like to hear from Mr. Les Nelson, who has some great information. And I thank you for listening to our objections. It would destroy our privacy, the light that would be able to come into our house. We'd have light pollution at night. And we even have some neighbors who are directly adjacent to the proposed project who just moved in about 2 weeks ago and had no idea that this was going in.
Can we get a show of hands of everyone in the room who supports that position? So we kind of know, okay? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, thank you. I'm just going to try to put together what I think I've gotten from the people that I've talked to.
Could you state your name and address?
Yes, my name is Les Nelson. I live at 4004 Chapman, and my property backs up to the church that oversees this. And so, you know, we finally feel like that there's several different things that everybody wants to say. One is the property's not suited for this. Yeah, we have many fine houses with large property all up and down 40th Street. And all those people are happy, and they want their property to stay the way they are, and they don't want this kind of incursion. The property has a very short frontage. As you can see, it's really not any wider than most homes. And before the drainage was fixed, those houses over on Clark used to flood. You go in and put parking lot, and you go in and put housing all over this whole piece of property, we're going to have flooding issues again. There was many large family trees that are on that parking lot. All of them, according to the zoning, is gone, every one of them. The view from the adjacent homes would now be a parking lot or the backside of an apartment. And he wanted to show that this had a lot to do with the same project that he has over in Helster. And he's saying these are the same things. Well, the one on Helster is sitting on a main artery. It backs up to A1, which is actually being run as a business. It has an entrance and an exit. It's not the same thing anywhere at all. This one, like I said, the main front would sit toward the parking lot. And if somebody else bought that parking lot, they could put an 8-foot fence against their property. That would be their legal deal. And then all these apartments are inside of a box. We just don't feel like that this piece of property goes on. I have, pictures of that. But moving out from that, even if they were able to pull off some kind of engineering miracle and make this thing work, the area doesn't need more stress on our roads, our infrastructure. It's located on South 40th Street where there are 2 schools, 3 churches, and a park. And the plan includes 40, like she said, 42 extra cars that are going to be coming out of that one little bitty range. These roads are already full. If you're there at 8 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, they're busy. Now, widening that highway is not good for the public because we don't want to spend money, tax dollars, widening this road to increase the traffic when realistically the city of Springdale has been trying their very best to limit the traffic. And they've done that a lot of ways. They put a 3-way on Watkins. They have put, there's a police officer that sits in the parking lot every day to control these kinds of things. They've tried their very best. They pulled these, I don't know if that was on purpose or by design, but they pulled the soccer out of that park and put it over on the other side, and that has reduced those kinds of things. But for the children, we need to make sure that we can reduce that drives, we don't want or need more cars on that line. And then moving on further out, like I said, it seems like that the Planning Commission's goal, and I won't read them all, was to promote public health, safety, order, convenience, and the prosperity of the citizens of Springdale. And I think that's a good plan. And the Springdale planning guidelines, by what I've seen, even today, is that they tend to discourage having radical changes between one piece of property to another. And going from SF2 to MF12 is a radical change. Like I said, this is not the only A1. We've actually been, counseled by one of the government people that, well, A1 is a problem, and they could do anything on that A1 if you don't get it rezoned. But somehow A1 to MF12 sounds like a rock and a hard place decision. We feel like there ought to be other decisions, and I do believe that in our area, any good developer would love to have that piece of property to put some single-family homes on there, make 15% on their money. I know a lot of them would love to do that. So adding it all up, lot doesn't fit, does not fit in our neighborhood, creates a danger and starting a domino effect. The people that I talked to down Peaceful Valley and the Peaceful 40th Street with those large houses, they love what they have, they're happy, they want to do that, and they want to keep it that way. And that's why we're trying to say, if you go look at the zoning map, it's yellow or single family is just about as far as the eye can see, and I don't understand why we can put a stab right in the middle of our heart and put something that doesn't belong. Lastly, just to kind of sum it up, I've always kind of lived my life of the golden rule, do unto others as you have them do unto you. I don't think anybody can stand here and say that they would want that in their backyard. And I'm a movie guy, and one of the things that happens in movies is all the times when somebody is doing something and everybody in the audience knows it isn't right what we're doing, and they say, well, it's not personal, it's business. For us, it's personal. These are our homes, not our houses. We don't store our stuff in our places. We store our homes where we have memories, and those memories don't get easily moved. Thank you.
My name's Steve Huntington. I live at 4001 Clark Avenue. I just wanted to have an opportunity to voice my side of it in opposition to this, in agreement with all the residents in Clark Avenue and surrounding. I know everything has been said. I think Les did a wonderful job with what he had to say, and I think it captured just about what we're all feeling about this. And no one, residences there, are happy with this proposed decision to change A1 for the 2202 South 40th into MF12. There was a single-family residence there, and now there's going to be 14 homes that are proposed. That is a large increase of population from what was there. I moved into there a little over 12 years ago. Very happy with the house, with the residents. I'm on the corner there of Clark Avenue, South 40th, and now my south boundary will be essentially a road because every car that goes back through there is going to go past my property. So again, I just wanted to add my voice to the opposition to this building. Thank you.
My name is Deborah Reck, and I live at 4103 Chapman Avenue, and I want to say that I agree with what has been said here against building the multifamily, or rezoning to multifamily. I have some of the same concerns, including traffic, and one of my big concerns too is that if you build in 14 more homes there, I don't know that the school can support that. I don't know how well you know what's going on at Walker Elementary, but it is full. They've rezoned, and there are over 600 students there. They're busing 30 students out to go to different schools because there's no space for them at Walker. And if you build the multifamily homes there, 14 units, that's an increase to the students there that Walker Elementary does not have the ability to cope with at this time. I know that they're working hard, they're doing a good job of teaching our students. My children go there. And I think that that would hurt the education of the students there, either because they wouldn't be able to be taught there, because they'd be bussed out, missing an hour each day of education time, because they wanted to build those apartments there. I don't think that building multifamilies there in a established single-family home area is a good idea. Thank you.
I'm Mike Nelson, 4104 Chapman Avenue. Back of my house is at the front of the church. Wasn't going to speak tonight. I'd have dressed up if I'd have known I was going to, but then I saw Dale here, so I thought everything's great. And then Patsy, we've got a little bit of history there as well. But my concern here, folks, is we've gone to the middle of a residential that we've held for years and years and years. I remember when the church went in behind my house, and it was said then, we're going to leave it that way, okay? People have come in and put an investment into homes with it being residential, not multifamily, okay? Do you understand how that impacts us? We've put all of this into this, and now we're going to come up and change this. I've got a few connections, and I found out that the church has already voted going to sell more property to Mr. Taldo if this goes through. So what we're starting here is a problem with multifamily, and that whole area will probably be multifamily. Then we go up to the north corner, the southeast corner of Chapman and 40th, and I've been told they're looking at that and going to do it there too. So your vote tonight is either going to help us or it's going to ruin the neighborhood. Okay? I personally know ex-law enforcement in this city. I've been in security. There is a lot of shootings, a lot of things going on in these townhomes, in these apartments in Springdale, Arkansas. And it continues to climb, okay? Police department's doing a great job, don't get me wrong. But you're bringing more folks in and putting them right in the middle of what we have had for years as residential, not multifamily. I wouldn't have bought my home there if you was going to put apartments behind my house. Okay? But with the increase in price on this stuff, people can't just sell out and move and go get something else now. Okay? So please, I just ask you, and I'm not against the Taldos at all. I know Philip very well, okay? So this isn't a personal attack on Philip or anyone else. I'm just telling you, you're talking about being the right use for that property. This is not. This is not the right use. I've been on city council. I've been involved in some of this stuff. But I can assure you, this is not the right use. So please, please take that in consideration, because it's just the tip of the iceberg if y'all push this through. Thank you.
My name is Ray McCartney. I live at 4005 Miller Drive, and we moved there right at a year ago. And we looked at a lot of places, and we wrote them off the list because maybe it was too close to this type of housing. And now that we own a home, now there's talk, somebody wanting to build it there, and that wasn't our plan. And I wanted to echo him. The elephant in the room was we're going to have more police and emergency vehicle things. You can't put 50 to 70 people on an acre and a half and expect nothing to happen. It's going to, and it's going to affect everybody in that neighborhood. So I just wanted to say that we depend as best we can on our city government to protect everybody in this map. So we just know that you'll make the right decision, but this is the best use for the property, not cramming 50 people on a small lot. Thank you.
evening, everyone. My name is Lonnie Johnson. I live at 4103 Clark Avenue, which I am on the south side. The back of my house faces south, and it will be directly looking at the back of these townhouses or whatever you call it. I think there's been a lot of things said that are true. I can't add a whole lot to that. What I would ask you to do is, let's just pretend these were be building in your house, behind your houses, behind Mr. Taldo's house. Would you end up voting for these if you had to look out the back of your house and look at these apartment buildings, whatever you call them? So do some soul searching. You've got a bunch of people that's lived there for a long time. Do us right, please. Thank you.
Hi there. My name is Byron Garibaldi. I live at 3807 Valley View Drive. I've lived there since 1996. So when we moved here, we thought the zoning was confusing at the least. There was commercial stuff mixed in with residential stuff all over the place, which kind of confused me quite a bit. But over the last 10 or 15 years, the Planning Commission's done a real good job in getting things where they should be, commercial where they're supposed to be, so forth. This doesn't directly impact me, but I live about a block and a half away. But it just doesn't make any sense. So you've already gotten multifamily apartment complexes in Lindsay, closer to 412, and then west of here, there's quite a bit of multifamily as well. This has obviously been single family for decades, and most of the people here would appreciate that, remain that way. So I think it's just a question to the Planning Commission whether we're going to go back to a confusing type stage of planning of the city, or is this going to be holding consistent with what we've got already. So that's my only point, is that this is more of a planning issue, and I think that would be making more sense if we keep it a single family. All right, thanks.
Johan Cam, 2308 Valley View Drive.
Sarah Cam. The wonderful thing that we love about Valley View Drive, which runs parallel to 40th Street, is that every house has 2 acres, and it is such a unique oasis in Springdale. And this would completely be the opposite of what we're used to and what we chose to live in Springdale for. When we looked for our home, we didn't care where we landed in Northwest Arkansas, but when we found our home in Valley View, we knew that it was the place that we had to live. And I feel like if this passed, it would just destroy the magic of that for us.
And I will say, as we're here, one of our main concerns is that southeast corner there of 40th and Chapman, those 2 lots in yellow, those 2 acre lots there. Those abut right up to our property there. And so as we know, and as we hear, as you discuss and as you make these decisions, one of the factors you consider is what's already there. So once there's already multifamily housing there, it'll just be that much easier for the next one and the next one and the next one until it creeps over right up against our house. That's the fear that we have. Now, I know, to me, this seems like a no-brainer. It seems like this is the kind of thing why we have a planning commission, why we're all here, why this exists, and why it's not just a commercial free-for-all, because we're here to decide what's the right thing, what are the right things to go in this place. So I have full faith in this commission that you guys are going to do the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Candace Nelson. I'm Les Nelson's wife. I live at 4004 Chapman. We bought our house in 1984 and have lived there ever since. I think the goal of Springdale government is to keep its residents safe, protect their property, but mostly have a people that are happy to be Springdale residents. I grew up in Fayetteville. I had no intention of ever being a Springdale resident and letting my children be Red Dogs. But I love the neighborhood. I love the schools. My kids got excellent educations, and we have been very happy in Springdale schools. The people in our neighborhood are here because they are happy. Statistics say that 8 of 10 people prefer to live in a single-family residence. So a large number of people in that apartment complex will not be happy there. Even though we are happy to receive new members to our neighborhood, they will only stay a short time and are not here for our fine schools. They will not be happy fighting traffic in or out of the neighborhood. And I'll tell you, if you want to make a left turn out of Chapman Avenue at 8 a.m. or at 3 p.m., forget it. You can't already. What's it going to be like when we add all those extra cars? So why are we doing this if no one was going to be happy? And lastly, it comes down to the fact that one developer's right to buy a piece of land and property and quickly get a large return on his investment does not and should not give him the right to damage the return on the investment that all the property owners in the neighborhood. Now, I'm a CPA, and I did some work, and it looks like he spent $206,000 last June. I can't remember the day, and I'm not finding my paper, 13th or 15th. So, I pulled up what some streets, here it is, here's my paper. Some houses have recently sold for on Clark, and all of the recent sales were at $340,000. Only found one recent sale on Chapman, and it was at $310,000. I believe new builds generally sell higher than existing homes. All the streets that I looked up on Clark Avenue were at 0.29 acres. All the houses I looked at on Chapman Avenue are at a quarter acre. So when I looked at the deed, it said it was 1.407 acres. That's not the number he said. So I calculated it at like 0.27 acres, which is between the Chapman and the Clark. And he can build 5 single-family houses on that. If you say, split the difference between the 340 and the 310, you come up with $325,000. If you come up with what I've read, a builder generally gets between a 10 and 20% return on when they build a single-family house. So if he built 5 single-family homes and sold them at $325,000, which he could probably get more, at a 20% profit margin, he would get $325,000. That's pretty good return on his money. If he sold them and got a return of 10%, he'd get $162,500. So, how much money does a person need? I mean, does he really need to have apartments and take, say, $50,000 off of the value of my home in order to make $1 million instead of $320,000? I mean, what do we want? Do we want people, I mean, if this goes through, I'm putting up a for sale sign, and Weichert will not get the sale, and I will not accept the sale. I will not accept anybody offering to it from a Weichert. I mean, that's just the way it is. But anyway, I think he could make a good profit with 5 single-family homes on that property, and it would all be nice and yellow, just like it is. So, anyway.
My name is Olivia King. I live at 502 Northwest N Street in Springdale, Arkansas. I once again would like to speak in support of this petition to rezone. I actually hate public speaking, so I kept my thoughts short and sweet on the other ones, but this is something I'm pretty passionate about, so here are my thoughts. I think every concern that these people have is valid and does need to be addressed. Cars and parking lots should not dominate our city. Green space and density should be balanced. The schools, the parks, and sidewalks all need to grow with us. The thing is, though, Northwest Arkansas is supposed to have 1 million people in just 20 short years. I just moved to Springdale from Fayetteville a few years ago. I have no intention of leaving in the next 20 years. I will see what that growth looks like in that time. I think it's more important to address the housing crisis that we are already facing. I think another concern that was just brought up was landlords being greedy. That also sucks and does need to be addressed. What is up for the table here is this the best land use? It is important to address the housing crisis that we are already experiencing that is only going to continue to get worse in the next 20 years. Someone also mentioned that nobody would want this in their backyard. I've already gotten up here and spoken once about changing my neighborhood to support the growth that we're going to see. I really encourage this group to think about this logically, think about the growth that we will experience, and think about what Springdale will look like in the next 20 years. Are we going to address traffic concerns? Are we going to address making sure that people are housed? Are we going to address a lot of things that come with this growth? But to deny it will only exacerbate those problems. I think it's important to keep all of that in mind, but mostly I want to speak in support of this one small project.
All right, Mike Nelson, 4104 Chapman again. I've just got to say, it's well beyond that. Y'all have done a great job. We are putting more multifamily in that area, but we're putting it in the right area. We're putting it over where y'all have zoned it off of Gene George Boulevard. You are helping that situation, as the young lady just spoke about. We are going to have a lot of growth. But again, you're going right in the middle of residential with this. And when you do that, you've started something for the entire city, okay? Please, please take that in consideration. Like I said, I know for a fact the talks have been with the church. The church has voted they're going to sell more property if this goes through. I know that's not here for y'all to vote on tonight, but it's going to be. And that's what scares me. It's not just the 1.5 acres we're talking about tonight. This is going to encompass all the way back on the church property, and then they've got to give them access for traffic. There's going to be a lot of issues, and I know y'all would work that out if this goes through. But please, please look at what you're doing to that neighborhood that has been peaceful valley for years. When I was a kid, I deer hunted and squirrel hunted all down through there. It was woods. That's what I know about the area, okay? So I'm not just getting up here spouting off. Please, please, please know what y'all will be doing to us when you vote tonight. Thank you.
I wasn't going to speak. I'm Tracy McCartney from 4005 Miller Drive, but her plea hit my heart. I am not opposed to adding people to the town or Northwest Arkansas. Taking a place where one house stood, and I was told it was 18 apartment complexes or townhomes. It is a very slender piece of land, and my concern has been for the traffic. When she talks about if you turn left, it's back past the stop sign at Chapman. You can't turn left at certain points of the day. I leave early in the morning for work, and it's busy down by the middle school. And I am not a wealthy person with 2 acres, or I have a small backyard, a little house. We looked for 1.5 years to find a house we could afford. And I'm thrilled to be in a place where it's safe to walk our dogs, and I visit with our neighbors. There are retired folks, elderly people still working. We're hardworking people. Apartments do change neighborhoods. My parents, I helped them disband their home that they've lived in for 30 years in Fayetteville, in a nice part of the town that's successful right now in the Wilson Park neighborhood, old neighborhood. But the appraiser who came said that he lowered the price because 2 blocks away there was an apartment complex. in a college town. That didn't seem right to me, but that's what we're talking about. It does matter when you sell. We've had to move a lot, and we've had to buy and sell homes. It's difficult. And this is a real concern. I think that there are places that would be a good fit for people. I don't want anybody blocked from housing or neighborhoods, and we're not. If you knew my street, we're very multinational and multi-age group. So I want you to not think that we are opposed because we've been here forever or people aren't invited to our hood. That's not it. It's going to make the traffic unbearable, and it will be a safety factor. We have kids that run up and down the street, and my little neighbors come over to visit. I'm a teacher. I'm aware of the safety of children, and it will not be safe with apartments nearby. And that's my thoughts.
Would the applicant like a chance to speak? Go ahead.
My name is Nora Hall, and I live at 4302 Clark Avenue, and I did send an email that you all have in your notes. I don't want to address those issues because I've already addressed that in the email, but just sitting here, I was thinking about what a precedence this would set, because this was a 1 acre lot, 1.5 acre lot that had one house on it, tore down, and now the proposed is 14 homes in there. What's to say if this passes that someone over on Valley View who owns a home on an acre lot doesn't tear down their house and then 2 acre lots and then build more townhomes, more homes on that 2 acre lot. I mean, if this passes, that sets a precedence that other people could possibly do that as well. So I just want that something to think about. Thank you.
Would the applicant like a chance to speak at all? If you'd like.
Thank you, commissioners and staff. I'd like to start kind of from square one, how this came about. I had a lady approach me, I don't know, it might have been a year ago. I don't remember exactly how long ago. And was interested in selling this property. And I said I'd, take a look at it, and which I did. And, I'm really not sure that anybody really realized what was going on there. I went over there, nobody was living in it. And there was cats running everywhere, somewhere between 20 and 30 cats living in the properties there. The house was in the process of being condemned by the city. They've had numerous phone calls there because of drug deals going on in that house right behind most of these good folks here. I don't know if they realize that. And, I wasn't sure at first what I would do, whether I would fix it up and rent it, but whenever I got over there, to be honest with you, I wouldn't even walk in it. I mean, I've been in the business for a long time. It's the worst I've ever seen. It was nasty. You'd rather have hogs living behind you. And so I decided right off, whatever I did, I was taking that house out. I just wasn't going to do it. And anyway, so I bought the property. And I think that if you've been by there, you can see I cleaned it up and got rid of all the mess. And I'd also like to address what was brought up about buying property from the church. There is a little corner of the property that I purchased from the church. It's a 45-foot little piece, and what the church didn't know they owned it to start with. And this squared it up with their driveway and their parking lot. And they were eager to go ahead and sell it. They could use the money, and all it did was square up the property, to be honest with you. So this idea that I'm buying the church property, that's not in the cards. I've never talked to him about buying any other property. And I'd like to say this, that I've developed 28 subdivisions in Springdale, and I'm developing some right now. And I developed Tuscany more recently. You might be familiar with Tuscany, and with Benedito, which is just north of Tuscany there. Those are $500,000-$600,000 houses and more. I built 25 of these exact same townhomes along Harbor Avenue there. They're 160 feet from those $500,000 houses. And I haven't had any complaints about it. On the north side of it, there's being developed right now. There's another multifamily section there that's being developed. I don't know how many units are in there. I'd say probably 40. But they're almost finished now. They back right up to these these houses. These people haven't seemed to had a problem with it. And I've got more to build. You all read the news, and you all know what goes on in Northwest Arkansas, and you know what goes on in Springdale. And we've got a major problem with housing. And I'm going to say, and I hate to even use this word, but I'm going to say affordable housing. Because affordable housing to me is something that maybe our school teachers could buy, our firefighters, our policemen, people that work for a living. You can't buy a new house in Springdale for under $300,000. There's not many kids out there getting out of high school or even out of college. I've got grandkids myself, and they can't afford these lowest end houses in the city. The thing that they look at is, for the most part, is renting. And I just want to say that our townhomes that we have, these units and others that we have, and we've got a lot of them, and they're close to schools. We've got those 25 that I mentioned right across from Hellstern and Harbor High School. Those units aren't crowded with kids. I got a little playground there, and I never see anybody in it, to be honest with you. Most of those people don't even have kids. There are people that are out there getting started. They're professional. Maybe they moved here. Maybe they're waiting to build a house. All kinds of different thoughts on it. But it's not the vision that's being painted tonight of what rentals are now compared to what they were 30 years ago in Springdale. It's a different thing. For somebody to qualify for one of these units, they'll rent for around $1,500 a month. Our guidelines are that's we qualify them. They have to make 3 times what the rent is to qualify. So I've got the numbers here. That's something like $54,000 a year take home. Qualify to rent it. You know, we do background checks. You know, felonies, we don't rent to felons. We do credit checks. And, you know, we don't rent to people that aren't worthy to make the payments, to be honest with you. We've got others just like these going on Oreo Street here in Springdale, going right down to J.O. Kelly Middle School and what is it, Knapp? Over there, you know. We have no problems whatsoever in there. They're all leased up. And I want to say it's hard living in a rural area 30, 40 years ago, and then having to deal with the population that we have now. And that's what's been brought on us. And we've got to provide good quality housing. I'm not going to say multifamily. I'm not going to say single family. I'm saying housing for people that want to live in town. They want to live close to the schools, and they're not available. I think I've even read, I know I've read that Springdale and other towns, school districts in town, were talking about trying to build some multifamily places for teachers, because they say they could hire a lot more if they had a place for them to live. You know, I think a teacher, what does a teacher make now, 50, 60? Somewhere in that range? I think that's what I read in the paper. I think that's about right. And it's not all, people aren't all going towards getting $350,000 to $700,000 house to live in. That's not the way the culture is today. I'll say within 1.5 miles of this site right there, there's 5 schools. There's a high school, there's a junior high school, there's a middle school, there's 2 elementary schools, and you know, maybe those teachers make enough where they don't have to rent, you know. But there's a certain number of them, when they get out of college and they're young teachers, they can't afford to do that. And, you know, I think this is a service to our city. You know, yeah, people laugh because it's not their kids that don't have a place to live. Maybe it is, I don't know. It's not their. If y'all let me talk, then I'll let y'all talk all you want to. I don't think standing back there laughing at me does a bit of good for anybody. But I didn't stand up and laugh at you whenever you were saying these things. So, I'd just like to say that this is part of what we're moving towards, whether it's today or 5 years from now or 10 years from now. We're going to build more utility lines, sewer lines, water lines. We're going to build highways because they're all going to be pushed out, and they're going to be all coming back in to teach at these schools or do whatever, work at Tyson or work as a nurse in one of these medical facilities out there. And, you know, I look at it and as a service to the community to provide this type of housing for the individuals out there. It's definitely up to you, and I'm not going to get into all the dynamics of these buildings and how much green space there is, but I've got all the figures. You know, it's going to be fairly private. You could be standing in the back window of these units. One of the bedrooms has a window facing the north, and, you know, a 6-foot privacy fence. They won't even be able to see green space in those yards. I've got the architect that.
Yeah, we're not going to get into design
We're not.
features because
Oh,
that's
well,
something we do later.
Everybody else got into
I know,
it, so
I
I
know,
just
but we're not
wanted to
getting-
address that. Just a second, give me just a second here. I will say also that we have here in Springdale, thank goodness, and I help work on them, we got stringent guidelines for multifamily properties. A lot more stringent than we do for single family. A lot more.
We have no
There's
standards. for
not
what-
going to be a grain silo back there,
Let's don't go
which
down
I
that road.
could put there
Let's
if
don't
I
go down that
wanted
road.
to. Huh?
Down that road, okay.
Well, it's a road, and that's what you get if it's single family and you don't have the guidelines to deal with that.
You're
I wouldn't
correct.
do it. I'm not doing it. I'm just saying these townhomes are quality townhomes, and they're built even better and to a higher standard what the city standards are. And that's all I got. And I'll just leave it at that. And I appreciate y'all,
We did take a poll.
regardless.
We did take a poll. Everyone that is opposed, if you could raise your hand again. And anyone that is for the rezoning, could you raise your hand?
Oh, I didn't know a poll was gonna be part of this deal. I mean, I could get a group to come in if you wanted
I
to
think,
take
I
a
think we
poll.
understand the comments. I think what we need to do now is go ahead and move forward, and this will be a call for the
I
vote.
just wanted to clear something up. He says there at the very, very beginning that we didn't know what was going on in that house. We were part of that. We worked with the police, but there are certain rules about how you can do things, and we were not able to do those. So whenever that house situation went away, these are the victims. These are the victims of what happened there, and we don't feel like that we should be
Okay,
punished.
we're not talking about what was the previous there. We're going to move on. Okay, we're moving on.
Okay, this will be a call for the vote.
Ms. Patsy, may I speak, please? Thank you, Mr. Taldo, for your words. I came to
Can you
hear-
state your name and address, please?
My name is Bill Pettigrew. I'm the pastor of Peaceful Valley Bible Church, the little church across the street. I knew the condition of the house. I knew the people. I ministered to some of them. So I don't need people to tell me what's going on in this sin in all of our lives. I came here to see what kind of answers I was getting to some of my prayers. I still feel uneasy about everything. I don't have any answer for you as councilmen. I appreciate your authority. But I want to tell you, I've been talking to a friend about all of this. And There's not a friend like the lowly Jesus. No, not one. And I'm going to say just simply, I don't know any easy answer, but I've lived here 30 years or more. I raised my little baby girl, who was 13 months old when we came here, and she is teaching in the 4th grade English at Kirksey Middle School after graduating with 2 degrees from the University of Arkansas, with a lot of other things going on too. We have adopted children. This is our community, Peaceful Valley. And I know a lot more about Peaceful Valley than what others think. Miss Patsy knows. I'm just saying, listen to the people. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. This is a call for the vote.
Call for the vote.
Call for the vote by Mr. Hussein.
Cloud?
I want to make a statement before I give you my vote. I've lived in Springdale for the whole time I've been here since '97. My wife teaches at Walker Elementary, has since '97. I think just because there's a need for infill development, which is what this is, doesn't mean what dream you pursued is necessarily affected in a negative way. There's a right way to build in a way that people can afford. And there are teachers all up and down 49, all up and down Northwest Arkansas, that cannot afford to live anywhere near the school they teach at. That is a real thing. I bought my house in Johnson in 1996 for $98,000. That same house today is probably worth $400,000. Could never afford it. So my statement is I would definitely support a lesser density, but I think by strictly staying the same is not the answer. I also think going this far away from what's there is also not the answer. So my vote is no.
Compton? Couch?
No.
Hussein?
No.
Mueller?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes, and if I could make just one quick statement. Multifamily is residential. There's residential housing in this area. The applicant is asking to add more residential housing. That is not a radical change. Multifamily is residential. And by the way, as a planning commission, we try to put houses by parks, by schools, and by churches. So my vote is yes.
Tyler?
Also, I agree with Peyton that this is on our land use map, this is considered low residential property. There is an MF12, 2/10 of the mile up, it's duplexes, but it's still MF12. We are rezoning a property tonight, and I believe the property should be allowed to be rezoned to MF12, so I vote yes.
We have a tie vote.
Wait, did they all vote yes? Okay. Okay, and Cardiel?
No.
Oh, crap, okay, so it's 5-3.
No. This does not pass 5-3.
The applicant has the right to appeal this decision to the planning commission. You have to file your, to city council, I'm sorry. You have to file your appeal within 15 days to the city clerk's office. You state the reason why you think the planning commission's decision is in error, and all of the adjacent property owners will be notified. I can tell you that this will not go to the December 12th meeting because we don't have time to get everything together, and you still have longer to appeal. So once that appeal is filed, then he will have to notify the adjacent property owners, okay?
Next item is C23-20, Jean Jalina and Wesley Price, presented by Engineering Services.
Hello.
My name's Rodney Woods. I work for ESI. I'm representing Wes and Jelena Price. On this piece of property, their mother died a few years ago and left it to them, and they're just trying to split it between the two of them. It's a long and skinny piece of property. It cannot meet any of the lot split requirements for road frontage. So we're asking for a conditional use for a tandem lot, to allow the tandem lot in the back, and then a variance to not have to pave the driveway all the way to the back, because that would cost over $70,000.
Do we have staff comments on this one? Questions? Which is the access to the, is the existing driveway that goes up to the existing house going to be the access easement to it, or is it the yellow on the top?
Well, I guess they want them both to be access easements in case they need them, in a contingency. But the requirement for the grading is not for a certain piece of property, it's just a requirement for a condition, right?
Well, they have an access easement that's paved. So are they asking to not pave any of the driveways, whichever one they put in?
Correct.
And what's that easement across just to the, whatever, right adjacent to the existing structure? Is that a utility easement?
The one along the center of track one?
What
Yeah.
is that easement?
I'm sorry?
What is that easement?
It's there's a water line in there somewhere. We just don't know where it's at.
Okay, so that's how you get water to the back lot. So we
Right
know the
now.
second lot
Right
has
now, but we
water.
made the easements to the north and south big enough so that if we're required to put in meters, those are big enough, those meet SWU's requirements for easements to run water to the back.
Okay, but in order to prove a lot split like this, we gotta have water to the second lot. So the water's already there. Have you had septic system approvals for both lots? And we know that each lot can contain the septic system as they're drawn?
Not exactly as it's drawn because we keep changing the lot line configuration. They have had lot septic permits and designs drawn up by DR Will Jones out of Huntsville. He did a couple different designs on the front. There has not been one designed on the back, but I mean, it's 2 acres.
Okay, but we don't make the assumption that it can get a septic system. Have you not had any perk tests done, and the health department hasn't been out there to say that those lots are capable of where the septic systems need to go?
They have on the front.
Okay, but what about the back lot?
They haven't done it on the back lot because they wanted to wait and see if it's going to be approved.
Well, that's kind of a catch-22, because we got to know that you have a sewer system for that back lot if we're going to allow you to split it.
Can we do the conditional use and the variance, pass that, and then we could get the perk test done on the back before we approve the lot split?
Well, you're asking us to give you a conditional use to split the lot without knowing whether the lots, lines as they are drawn on there are appropriate or not. We normally have to have a design septic system for each lot so that we know the boundaries of the lot, each of the septic systems are contained on the lot.
I called Rebecca Corbett out of Corbett Engineering last week to see if she could get out there and at least look at it, give us an opinion, drill one hole or something. They're so far behind, I couldn't get them out there in time for this meeting.
Okay, this item hasn't been tabled, has it? This is the first time we're hearing it, right? Okay, so you could table it a month and see if you can get her out there to determine where that lot line needs to be. That we know we have a septic system that fits on each of the lots.
Okay. Can I do that under the assumption that the conditional use and variance will probably go through?
You're asking the planning commission to make a decision where they don't know whether it works yet or not.
Just asking for your opinion.
If they'll both fit on the lot, I don't see any major issues with it, but I can't tell you that it's going to work till we know where the lot lines are.
Thank you.
At this point, I'd have to recommend that it be denied, and then you can't apply for a year. You may want to table this.
Yes. It's
Okay.
Okay, so you're going to table for a month? Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
The next item is L23-63 Ford Avenue Warehouse, presented by Engineering Services.
I'm Nick Boning. I'll be representing ESI for this project. We're proposing a 42,000 square foot warehouse with a landscaping variance on the west side. As to the proximity to the property line, we don't believe trees will be able to grow there. So we're gonna take the same amount of trees, just move them slightly north, keep them on the property.
Okay, I'm confused. Property is zoned
I-1.
I-1,
Yes, ma'am.
and you're proposing a warehouse.
Yes, ma'am.
So you're asking for screening requirement variances, not commercial design standards, because commercial design standards do not apply to a industrial building.
No, ma'am. It's for screening.
Okay. We advertised as a conditional use for a variance for commercial design standards, which was landscaping, and that would be foundation landscaping, perimeter landscaping, parking lot and landscaping, but really all you're asking is for screening?
For the perimeter landscaping on the west side.
Okay, you're gonna store stuff outside?
No, it's just there's only a little over 10 feet between the property line and the building, and the other building is abutting close to that property line. So we don't think the trees will be able to fit there. So we're gonna take the same number and move them slightly north.
Okay. You're gonna put the same number of trees for an industrial building. Now, if you come in for something like trades and services, you can't put it in there because a trades and services is a commercial use and would have to meet commercial design standards. Everybody understands that. This is an industrial use only.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do we have any elevations of what the building looks? We don't have anything because it's an industrial building, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that industrial to the left of it, I'm assuming?
Yes, sir. It's in an industrial park.
But it's not a screening requirement, it's a perimeter landscaping requirement. So they are asking for a variance for preliminary, perimeter landscaping and putting the same amount of trees, just in different locations. Now, do we have a landscaping plan that shows that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That's the only variance you're asking for.
Yes, ma'am.
And a large scale to be approved with that. The number of parking spaces is based on it all being warehouse? No offices?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Do I have a call for the vote for the variance? Call for the vote by Mr. Cardiel.
Couch,
Yes.
Hussein,
Yes.
Mueller,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Cardiel, Cloud,
Yes.
Compton.
That passes.
Yeah, for planning, there's pedestrian areas that need lighting, that it's not sufficient. Looks like it's on the northeast corner of the southern parking lot.
Engineering comments, please submit a PDF of the signed and sealed drainage report. Provide detail for how the storm drainage will be cored into the existing box culvert. And the outlet structure has a really precise angle on the weir. I'm just wondering if this is going to be a precast box or if it's poured in place. It seems like it may be difficult to achieve that precision in the field. And then it looks like the pond does not have an emergency overflow.
Okay, can you address all those comments? You don't have to address them right now, but those are going to be the comments that would have to be addressed before you could move forward with construction.
Yes, ma'am.
This will be a motion subject to staff comments for the large scale.
So motion.
Motion by Mr. Cloud.
Second.
Is that Mr. Couch? Second by Mr. Couch.
Compton. Couch,
Yes.
Hussein,
Yes.
Mueller,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Cardiel, Cloud.
Yes.
That passes. The next item is L 23-64, Wiener Schnitzel, presented by Bates and Associates.
evening, everyone. I'm Jeff Bates with Bates and Associates. Our client's proposing to put another Wiener Schnitzel in Springdale over on East Robinson and Oriole. We're asking for one variance to foundation landscaping, and that's due to the drive-through. And other than that, I'll answer any questions.
Did you put the same amount of landscaping in other areas on the
Yes,
site?
we did.
That's an important part of that, okay?
Do I have any other comments?
For planning, need to provide an area to accommodate for a possible future public transit stop. And also, we never did receive any type of screening methods for either the ground-mounted or roof mounted equipment.
Okay, we can get you those elevations for that.
Engineering comments. The drainage report hydrographs are mislabeled. They have a different project number or a different project label on them. We just need to correct those. And we need some details on the underground pond, like the chamber configuration, specifications on the materials, depths of those materials, et cetera.
But Katie, you're okay with the design, you just need materials and
Yes, I
details to
just
make
need
it work?
the construction details, yes.
Okay. Good idea in the future if you get all that stuff in on the front end, then we don't have that comment, okay?
Sorry.
The variance for landscaping is a call for the vote. For the vote by Dr. Compton?
Hussein. Mueller.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Cardiel. Cloud.
Yes.
Compton. Couch.
Yes.
That passes. The large scale is a motion subject to staff comment.
Motion subject to staff comments.
Motion by Mr. Tyler. Second by Dr. Compton.
Hussein. Mueller.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Cardiel. Cloud.
Yes.
Compton. Couch.
Yes.
That passes. Thank you. The next item is L 23-66, Arkansas Children's Northwest Expansion, presented by Chris Backus, McClellan Engineering.
Good evening. My name is James Dibble with McClellan. Chris was unable to make it this evening. I'm representing our.
I don't know, I think it was probably just for McClellan.
I believe it was Chris Bakunis or McClellan. We are proposing a 4-story, 55,000 square foot expansion to the existing children's hospital, along with associated parking, totaling 245 stalls.
And this is something we looked at when we had the original proposal for children's. We knew it was going to be expanded to this direction. The pad's already been built. Utilities are in the right place. This is not something that just happened. It's just, we're finally getting to the point where they can afford to do it. We know it needs to be done.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And the gravel parking lot that they've been using will be paved.
I'm sorry, say that again, please.
The gravel parking lot will be paved, correct?
Oh, yes,
Oh,
it'll be
yes.
paved.
No variances.
No, ma'am.
No variances.
Any staff comments?
For planning, we'd like to see a few more crosswalks going from the new parking lot across the drive to the existing parking area. Right now, there's just one, and that doesn't look like that's going to work well.
Okay, we're willing to work with planning to be able to put another one in and satisfy you guys.
And engineering has no comments.
Okay, this will be a motion subject to staff comments.
Motion subject to staff comments.
Motion by Mr. Parker.
Second.
Second by Mr. Cloud.
Parker.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Cardiel. Cloud.
Yes.
Compton. Couch.
Yes.
Hussein.
Yes.
Mueller.
Yes. That passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item is B 23-131, Old Wire LLC Whitley Dunn, presented by Joseph Kuhn.
Hello? Say that again, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We would like to just build an access road to a laydown yard in between the two buildings and do a 8-foot privacy fence around it with a gate, a double gate. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, compacted SB2 gravel.
Yeah, originally it came in as a smaller pad of gravel, then we received this, there's the access drive. We went out last Friday and looked at it. There were a couple water meters that we found out were empty. There is one electrical box that may need to be moved or worked around, which we discussed the other day. Looking at it, they're going to improve some of the drainage situation that is there, and they did agree to do the 8-foot privacy fence where we've requested it. It's just a large amount of gravel. Talking to the people that are renting it, they're using it are going to use it to put pumps and different things on, so it'll just be pickup truck traffic that's going there. It won't be larger trucks than probably a 350 or 1-ton vehicle. There is residential there. And there is an existing privacy fence, but it was explained to them that they would have to put up their own screening fence.
Did they do it? Was there a drainage report done on it? Is that how you know the drainage isn't going to be an issue?
So we met them out there, and then I ran some quick calculations and told him I didn't need a drainage report based on what we had. He's got an infiltration trench and then a pop-up drain that's going to take care of all the drainage.
This is a call for the vote.
Call for the vote.
Call for the vote by Mr. Parker.
Cardiel. Cloud.
Yes.
Compton. Couch.
Yes.
Hussein.
Yes.
Mueller.
Yes,
Parker.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
that passes 8-0.
Thank you.
The next item is B 23-132, Mario Araujo Laguna and Glenda Guevara Araujo. I hope I said that right. Presented by Mario Araujo Laguna.
Hi, I'm requesting a setback reduction from 25 feet to 10. The reason being is I would like to build a porch behind my house, and I only have from my property line to the back of the house, it's 24 feet. So I wouldn't be able to build nothing with a setback reduction of 25 foot.
And you've already been through a utility easement vacation, it's already gone to council and that's been vacated?
Yes.
Okay.
Any other comments?
Does building inspection or fire have any comments on this one?
This is a call for the vote.
Call for the vote.
Call for the vote by Mr. Parker.
Cloud.
Yes.
Compton. Couch.
Yes.
Hussein.
Yes.
Mueller.
Yes,
Parker. Tyler.
Yes.
Cardiel.
that passes 8-0.
You need to get a building permit. You need to go see the building inspector and get a permit for it, okay?
Yes, thank you.
The next item is B 23-133, Jose Villanueva, presented by Jose Villanueva.
Ma'am, can I ask you something real quick, please?
Yes,
All right, I don't hear very good, but you already passed this. Is that B 23-131?
yes, we did.
All right, I live on the backside of that on Brogdon Street.
What is your
My
name?
name's R.L. Parker. I live at 1015 Brogdon. That easement down through there, they're wanting to move it, pave all that for storage for that warehouse complex there.
All right, easement, half of that was my property at one time, and then we give it to the city. I want to know what gives them the right to take that and use it for their space, and why don't I get to use it for my space? And are they gonna put that privacy fence back up once they move it, or is it gonna affect my property lines?
Okay, did anybody check to see if there was any easements back there?
There is a utility easement, but they are not doing any gravel development laydown in the utility easement.
They're gonna do what now?
They are not putting anything in the easement.
Okay, so it's not gonna happen then? I mean, I'm just going by this letter I got in the mail, said they was gonna pave it.
Well, they're gonna put gravel down, and Katie's saying they're not putting it into that easement itself. They will stay out of the easement, and they were told they have to put up their own privacy fence on their side of the,
They already have a privacy fence there.
is it theirs or yours?
No, it's theirs. Mine's a chain link fence, and I got 8 foot of grass and dirt between it and their privacy fence. From
Okay.
my fence to their privacy.
Okay, they're not getting in that easement at all.
Okay, well, I'm sorry I didn't
That's okay.
hear you a while ago, but
That's
I
okay.
appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Hello, I am Jose Villanueva.
Could you tell us a little bit about what you're wanting to do?
Quiero extender el driveway.
My name's Jennifer Oman, and he just wants to extend his driveway and have like a carport in there.
Okay, he's already extended the driveway to the opposite side of the door, and he wants to extend it closer to the front door, correct?
Más a la puerta o
Yes. Sí.
como al lado opuesto, como de
Al
los
lado
vecinos.
de la puerta.
Yeah, closer to the front door.
Okay, and we did the calculations. It doesn't exceed the 40% of pavement in the front. Okay? And then you want to put the carport on top of the new driveway and the existing driveway, correct?
Entre todo.
Yeah. Sí.
Anybody got any comments from over there? Anybody else looked at it?
Donde hay 8 pies, le estoy dejando a la vecina.
Like where there's 8 feet, he's leaving that to the neighbor.
He extendido 20 pies hasta ahí y tengo 6 pies a la puerta, 8 pies a la puerta, a la front door.
So the 8 feet on the other side of the driveway is, he's giving to the neighbor?
Eso es mío, pero se lo estoy dejando a ella para que pueda transitar.
Like that's his, but he's giving that to the neighbor so that they can be able to pass.
Okay, I don't think I understand all that. Is it gravelled now, or is it grass?
Hey, Patsy.
Es concreto, es concreto.
So the property line, right on the right side of the driveway, per the aerial. And it's all paved right now. And then if they expand it, it won't go above 31%.
Okay, so it's paved all the way up to the property line on that side.
Yes.
And they're extending it to the opposite side, but it still doesn't increase, it's still not more than 31, it's only 31%.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, this would be a call for the vote.
Call for the vote.
Is that measured from the edge of the pavement to the, or the street right of way, where your pins are? Because it looks like it's measured from the edge of pavement, which means you'll need more than a 5-foot reduction in your 30-foot setback to 25.
Es desde el concreto.
Yeah, usually it's another 10 feet of right of way from the edge of the pavement.
ley dice que son 30 pies. Yo estoy agarrándole nada más 5 pies más para poder si se puede hacer. Y esto llega hasta el concreto, donde pasa como la cuneta.
So he's taking his measurement, from what I understand, he's taking his measurement from the concrete.
From the concrete of the driveway? Okay, do you know where your property pins are?
¿Sí sabe dónde está la propiedad de usted, oiga?
¿Mande?
La propiedad de usted, ¿sí sabe dónde está? ¿Qué es
Sí.
la propiedad de usted?
Ajá.
Adelante.
Sí, él se refiere a donde camino allá adentro, como el caminar, como el walking,
Sí.
¿no? El garage. Sí,
Yeah.
ajá.
Yeah, if your property pins line up with the edge of the concrete and you measure 25 feet there, you should be okay then. I'm sorry.
Any more questions from the commission? This is a call for the vote. Call for the vote by Mr. Parker.
And are y'all gonna take both of these? Isn't there two?
Mention in the-
Is it okay to take them together?
Okay. Compton? Couch?
Yes.
Hussein?
Yes.
Mueller?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Tyler?
Yes.
Cardiel?
Yes.
Cloud?
Yes.
That passes 8-0.
Thank you.
The next item is B 23-134, Springdale's Best Storage, presented by Will Kellstrom.
Good evening, Commissioners. Will Kellstrom here on behalf of the applicant. This is a previously approved large-scale development for a storage unit development on East Emma and Castile. We are asking for a variance from the commercial design standards for materials, basically lowering the amount of brick required. What we are proposing is that we are bricking all outwardly facing facades of the buildings that face public streets, as well as any of those that you might be able to see from a public street. So basically, if you're looking at the development from the outside, it will appear as though everything is brick. And we'll also include some areas that you probably won't even see because they'll be behind a privacy fence. Overall, it's gonna be about 28% brick. I have some more remarks prepared if you guys wanna hear them, but otherwise, I'm just here to answer questions.
My first question is, what has changed about this that you can't build it the way it was originally approved? Because you have a variance to start with.
Did we have a variance for the brick to begin with? Because essentially, a variance for the brick was supposed to be filed at some point, and then somehow it got lost in the process of doing it. It was our intention to build it about the way we proposed here, and a variance just never got submitted.
Well, the notes from the meeting shows that a variance was requested for predominantly exterior building materials, and it was approved with what you submitted to have the brick on all the buildings, because the ordinance doesn't say it's only on those that you see from the street. So I don't know what changed between now and then what's the new hardship?
I'm confused. I was not aware that there was a previously approved variance because the plans show brick all around. But generally speaking, the hardship is this. This is a private development that's gated and it's not accessible by the public. The only people who are gonna look at the inside of these buildings are the people who are allowed to do it because they're members or they rent a storage unit, or people that choose to be in there. It's different from developments on 71B, for example, where as you're driving by, you have to look at it whether you like it or not. And for those buildings, it makes sense to require high-quality materials on all sides of it, because all the sides are visible to people whether they want to look at them or not. So the hardship is that we're being held to the same standard on the inside of this development that's not meant to be viewed by anybody. I kind of say this is analogous to why there's not any regulations on what the interior of buildings look like. It's just what's regulated is the portions of the building that are essentially forced on the public. And the interior portions of this development are not something that really anybody is gonna see unless they choose to do so.
Well, the project was approved with variances to the facade and exterior walls, and one of those was materials. So what was presented was what was approved with a small amount of brick between the doors on the interior pieces and the brick on the end of each of the structures. Variance for the roofs because it didn't have breaks, for materials and covering, and landscaping. That's how the project was approved. The requirement for meeting design standards doesn't say only what's seen from the street. So it was approved with what was presented at that time, and it hasn't changed any, has it?
But I can't speak to what was done before I was put on this project. I don't know what that variance was, but the argument that I'm making is that all portions of this development that you will be able to see will be bricked. It will look like an all brick development to basically anyone who chooses to look.
Okay, let me talk to Ed just a minute. Was this project approved to have brick? And now where the foundations have been poured, they didn't pour them wide enough to put bricks on there? Is that the project that I'm thinking about?
We haven't issued building permits yet, but the plans I reviewed did have brick on all four sides, I believe.
And not a small portion in each one of the, between the different doors, correct?
There was no brick on the side with the overhead doors, just on the walls that didn't have overhead doors. I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on it.
Okay, so I'm not sure what we're changing with this compared to what we had before. Cost is not a hardship.
What were the other, are you saying, so my concern is that we take this as a package, right? When it's presented and it sounds like there were multiple variances proposed. And so I'm always weighing one variance with the others. And so we look at we look at all these variances as a package and then we come back later and have to, that's where my hang up is. And I also don't think it's a hardship if everyone else is required to do the same thing.
Well, so if I recall correctly, and the engineer is not here, and the developer is here to answer questions, by the way. I don't think this has anything to do with foundations. Of course, Drew is back here and he can attest to that. So I don't think the foundations thing is accurate. The other thing is that I don't believe we asked for that many variances. I think.
Okay, I'm looking at the minutes from the meeting.
Okay.
On March the 7th. It was Springdale's best storage, variance of commercial design standards, A for facades and exterior walls, B for detail features, C for roofs, D for materials and colors, and E for landscaping. Those all variances were requested. The project was approved with variances granted as presented. Let me see what this says. The variances, I got to get over to the last page. Foundation landscaping request is because there are storage units and there are doors in front of them. He said that they got as much room as would permit. They were doing bricks on all the ends. They were doing street improvements along Emma. All the variances were taken together and they were all approved as presented. Now we're coming back and trying to change what was approved with all these other variances. And I guess we're confused about what has changed that we have to do something different.
What is shown that was approved for the exterior of these? Because the only thing I've seen is the all brick all the way around. I'm not aware of what.
Well, I don't have the previous submission with me. All I have is what you submitted this time and the copy of the minutes, so we knew what action was taken. I think we probably need to go back and sit down all together and figure out what you're actually changing. What was approved with the submission that was submitted then and what we're looking at now, so we can give the Planning Commission a good discussion of what's being changed.
Is engineering not able to pull up those approved elevations at this time?
We don't have access to the drive-in here. We just have what's on the PowerPoint.
I understand.
That's the problem. So I would suggest we table this request, look at it, and come back next month, and we'll have looked at both of them together, and so we'll know what they were.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
The next item is B 23-136, Robert and Sherry Squires, presented by Bates and Associates.
Hello, Andy Hooper with Bates & Associates. This is just an informal plat to split. You just heard the Wiener Schnitzel project is going on tract 1, and tract 2 is going to go remain with the Squires. The issue is there's an existing shop building that's within the setbacks. That was a result when they built Oriole Street. We are asking for a variance to reduce the front setback from 30 to 10 to go around the building, the existing shop building.
It's the existing non-conforming use.
Oh, what is it? I'm sorry.
It's an existing non-conforming use,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Any other comments? This would be a call for the vote.
Call for the vote. Hussein?
Call for the vote by Mr. Hussein.
Couch,
Yes.
Hussein. Mueller,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Cardiel, Cloud,
Yes.
Compton.
That passes 8-0.
Thank you.
Next item is B 23-137, Jean, Jaylena, and Wesley Price, presented by Engineering Services, Rodney Woods. Thank you. Next item is W 23-27, Charles and Linda Harwell Family Trust, presented by Charles Harwell.
Last man standing. And, you know, Abe Lincoln said, a lawyer who represents himself is a fool for a client, so here I am. We're here, this is our family plot. We've lived on this property for 25 years. My house sits in the middle. My son wants to build on the northern tract. He can't find affordable real estate to build on, and I offered him a deal he can't refuse, assuming you all help me with this. And I think I'm here to ask you to waive the requirement that we have meet the subdivision requirements. Because it's family, we don't have any plans other than single-family residential. My son will build a house probably a little further back than mine. The highway department, as you might know, that's 112. They plan to widen that road. They're going to take a good bit of our property. They're going to put a 12-foot sidewalk on my side of the road, which will be part of the bike trail. And so because each site's going to have access from 112, we're asking that you consider waiving the requirements and treat this more informally. But I'm happy to answer any questions and welcome any thoughts anybody has about.
And you're creating 3 lots, not just 2?
Right.
Okay. The third lot, you'll have the lot to the north, the lot that your house is on, and what are you creating the third lot for?
I'm going to give that to my daughter.
Okay.
And she may build on it, she may not.
Okay.
If I
And you
ever
want to
get
do
it
that
back to
now?
Arkansas, I think she might.
And you want to do that now? Because you could split it into 2 lots right now and not have to ask for a waiver. But when you do the third one, you have to ask for a waiver. Do you want to go ahead and do that now, or and make 3 lots, or do you want to come back later?
Is there a restriction in time? Is it like Santa
Yeah,
Claus
like-
keeping a list of who's
You know,
naughty and
yeah,
who's nice?
technically they do. Technically, we
I
if you go
thought so.
on 20
Uh,
years, you know, probably no one would
yeah,
remember, but yeah. If this is what you do, that's the best way to do it, is go ahead and get it done all at one
I
time.
think I'd rather do it. There's also an issue, Philip's not here, the Highway Commission is going to tell me that I can't have the driveways that I really need. And
Right.
so that's another reason why.
Okay, the other issue I have to ask, have the 2 lots to be created, do you have septic systems approved and we know they'll fit on those lots?
I have had Linda May out there, she did the design.
Okay.
I'm not certain if the health department has been out there. But
Okay.
she's at least made the application, and I assume, I don't know what kind of time frame. She was out there several weeks ago.
Okay, normally we don't create the lots until we know for sure that the septic system where they tell you it's going to be can be contained on that lot, because you can't have a septic system on somebody else's lot.
Right, and I've got a septic field. You can see mine goes kind of at a northwest angle.
Right.
From the house.
Right.
And so what she designed is to move mine for our existing residents wholly onto track 2, and also did a perk test for that and for track 1, and then she also did track 3. And I just don't know if the health department has approved all that. She's designed it all.
Okay. We probably need that shown on those so that we can make sure that all of those septic systems fit on the lines that you have drawn.
Sure.
Okay. And like you said, the street improvements are yet to be determined by the highway department. And so we wouldn't be making him to do street improvements at this point, I don't think.
So this would be a motion to forward to council with recommendation for approval. Motion by Dr. Compton,
Second.
second by Mr. Hussein.
Hussein,
Yes.
Mueller,
Yes.
Parker. Yes. Tyler,
Yes.
Cardell. Cloud,
Yes.
Compton. Couch.
Yes.
Staff will prepare.
It is council next week, and I'm not behind Taldo. I'm just kidding. Thank you. I appreciate y'all.
Planning Director's report.
Yeah, it's the 14th at the Outback. And I think most everybody has, I know two of y'all are. Are you gonna be there, Kate? Yeah? Okay. Yeah, let me know as soon as you can, if you would, please.
We appreciate you going through all this tonight, and everything's got to cancel next week, because we're going to be, council meeting on the 26th.
We are adjourned.